Bahamian history is world history. Often, our significant historical events have some tie to international events. For example, the Burma Road Riot.
Going down Burma Road, going down Burma Road.
We don't have the rights to that song. There is no road in the Bahamas named Burma. Technically, Burma no longer exists because the official name of the country is Myanmar. So, what was the Burma Road? In the late 1930s, the British built a road connecting the then colony of Burma to China to transport supplies. Then, during the Second World War, Japan invaded Burma and shut down the road. I'm oversimplifying because this was during British colonial times, and so the conflict involved
Racial tension!
the battles that were fought to reopen the Burma Road were a big deal and worldwide news. Over the course of the war, it resulted in what would be referred to historically lone dead people. Stephen, I don't think you could refer to war casualties as lone dead people. World War II was in the 1940s, so calling something Burma Road would be understood as a contemporary reference to an explosive conflict. It would be like saying,
This is my Titan submersible.
so what does any of that have to do with the Bahamas? Well, in 1942, the Bahamas, still a colony of Britain, was doing its part for the war effort by expanding an airfield so British troops could use it for training. Black Bahamians and white Americans were hired to do the work, and this is where the conflict started. The American workers were being paid 8 shillings, while the Bahamian workers, with the knowledge and approval of local officials, were being paid only 4 shillings.
Wait, how much you getting paid?
This hadn't been the first time that Bahamians had been ripped off, nor would it be the last. However, at this point in Bahamian history, there was also
Racial tension!
the riot kicked off when somebody identified historically as Green from Andros said,
You must have done this again, mate.
or something like that. Angry Black Bahamian workers marched from the airfield to Bay Street.
How much further, babe?
Which, while still a walk, was not long enough to extinguish the flames brought about by racial oppression.
Yeah, man, like, what are they supposed to do with that? They can learn. They can learn today.
Once the angry workers arrived downtown, they proceeded to break every glass window on Bay Street. Armed colonial officers pushed the rioters back from Bay Street to the over-the-hill area, and at the end of the conflict, there were 5 reported deaths. About this time, the Duke of Windsor, sorry, you're gonna need a little bit more context of who the Duke of Windsor was. The former King of England was the governor of the Bahamas at that time because he wanted to marry an American divorcee who may have been a Nazi sympathizer.
We're sending you to do your part in the war. 3,000 miles from any action. But hey, they have great beaches. Right, Bertie? Right?
He was out of the colony at the time trying to negotiate what eventually would become the contract. And that's another story about why all of us have a cousin in South Florida somewhere, but stay focused on the Burma Road Riot. The Duke of Windsor flies back to Nassau and commissions an inquiry to find out what was the cause of the riot. The commissioned report came up with several points, including
Racial tension!
and unfair pay. So the Bahamian workers' salary was increased, which was still not as much as the white American workers.
They in Paris every day, but they still have to pay somebody that money. Have to fix all that glass.
This is considered a pivotal moment in the Bahamian labor movement, and there is lone information about what we didn't cover, but this is an abridged history of the Burma Road Riot.
Why?